Hey everyone, welcome back to Adeptus Titanicus Dominus. This is DisturbingPuppet. So there's been an update, so we're going to do kind of a quick check and kind of check out the update, and we'll probably do a tutorial quick, just to kind of do the basics and see if anything's been added to the tutorial. Then we'll go over the update and kind of the info that was up about it, and then we'll do kind of a quick skirmish and just kind of see how it works out. So we'll do kind of the battlefield basics, just to kind of show things, how it works. And to make sure that my system's actually recording, because I had some issues with this game. So let's get it to load. So this is an early access game. A lot of this stuff's probably going to change. Graphics, maybe layout, map design, all that kind of stuff probably will change. Let me just quickly check on this and see if it's actually recording. That looks like it is. All right. Okay, so here we have... it's kind of the basic interface. We've got a warlord here. There's a warhound out here. Kind of mini-map. Victory conditions and stuff. We'll go over that a bit. So welcome to the Battlefield Tutorial Legate. This tutorial will introduce the key elements of the Battlefield user interface and also touch on several important gameplay concepts. Early access note, please note that Adeptus Titanicus Dominus is an early access alpha for those familiar with developer terminology, meaning it is not yet feature complete, and we will be adding new features throughout our early access journey. So this is some new stuff popped up, so we're checking it out. We invite you to add your voice in our Steam forums if you have constructive feedback to share or particular features you'd like to see in the game. Some of the stuff I've mentioned in previous videos was added. Adeptus Titanicus Dominus is a turn-based strategy game featuring interleaving activations. It is a translation of the 4th edition epic tabletop rules and set in the Warhammer 40,000 universe. Each turn is divided into 2 phases, the orders phase and the end phase. And in the orders phase, each player activates one unit by giving it an order, which is executed and the results are shown, and then the opportunity to activate a unit is handed over to his or her opponent. Retain the activation once. Note that you can choose to retain the activation once before you must hand the activation over to your opponent. Basically, you can just use 2 units in one turn before they get a chance to use anything. If you have enough units, you can retain several times in a single turn. However, doing so can leave you exposed as your opponent may outmaneuver you if you have run out of activations while he or she has not. Use the ability to retain wisely. If you end up outnumbering your opponent, it's not that important, but it can be quite useful at certain points deciding where things are going to go in the battle, getting multiple shots in on a target before it gets a chance to shoot back, that kind of stuff. The turn proceeds, passing the activation back and forth like this until all of you and your opponent's units have been activated, at which point end phase occurs. In the end phase, you and your enemy's titans may regenerate lost void shields, put out fires, and in some cases even repair physical damage. The end phase is managed automatically by the game, taking only a few seconds. Camera control is WASD for panning, Q and E for rotating. Alternatively, you can hold middle mouse button and control rotation that way. Now let's go over the screen's major elements. Top left, we have the current turn and phase. The top center of the screen, your and your opponent's current victory points are shown. In game modes, the player with the highest, in most game modes, player with the highest score in turn 3 end phase will win the game. Increase your score by securing objectives or achieving other victory conditions. The game does not check to see if victory has been achieved until the end phase, which gives players opportunity to react and avert disasters within a turn. Maybe. Titans are kind of slow, so it's a little... well, the battlefield's big, and Titans move slow. Top right of the screen, help text is shown. Many screen elements have help text associated with them that will appear here upon mouse over. This is particularly useful when you're reviewing unit data, as help text that details what each stat means. Down the right-hand side of the screen, victory conditions available in the current battle are shown. In your games, you can mouse over each of these for reminders of what they mean to appear in the help text as we highlighted a moment ago. So here we have claim central objectives within firefight range for 1 victory point each. Claim your opponent's forward operating base by positioning a unit within firefight range for 2 victory points. Destroy your opponent's most expensive unit for 2 victory points, or annihilate the enemy to win. For this tutorial, we've given you a powerful warlord packing twin volcano cannons and supported by twin apocalypse rocket launchers. You can see enemy warhound approaching an objective directly ahead of your warlord. In Adeptus Titanicus Dominus, unit and targeting selection is achieved by left-clicking with your mouse, while movement destinations are chosen by right-clicking. Let's give your warlord its orders. Dismiss this dialogue, left-click on your warlord to select it. So actually, let's sort of move around the camera. We can kind of look, take different angles, check things out if we want to. Get a little closer in on my warlord here. Well done, Legate. Let's review the available orders. At the bottom of the screen, you'll see 4 order buttons are available. Sustain Fire, Advance, which is the default, Double, and March. The Titan that is issued Sustain Fire order and has a target selected does not move during its action but shoots more effectively. The Advance order enables your units to move and shoot normally. Double enables your unit to move at twice its normal speed, but it shoots less effectively. On a March order, unit moves 3 times its normal speed, but cannot shoot at all. Sustain Fire has a special feature. If no target is selected upon execution, Sustain reverts to Overwatch mode. This causes your Titan to forgo shooting in an order's execution to instead shoot during your opponent's action, if the enemy Titan should move within range. I'm not sure if this will trigger if the enemy just stays put and shoots, or only if the enemy moves. It kind of sounds like if they move within range only. Okay, next we'll move our Titans up the battlefield on the double, sacrificing some accuracy for greater speed. This will enable us to get far enough to capture that nearby objective. To move your Titan into capture range, right-click to place a holographic representation of your Titan on the destination point, ensuring the amber firefight ring covers the objective. To dismiss this dialog, click the double order and then right-click close to or on the objective marker directly ahead, and you'll see the hologram with amber firefight ring. So let's move in. I do like this little fighting going on, some Marines shooting at some people here. Good! You can now see the projected path, your chosen destination, as well as the capture ring, indicated by the amber firefight ring. In order to deliver the Ember's Wrath upon the enemy, we must now select a target that is in range. Dismiss this dialog, then left-click on the enemy Warhound directly ahead of your Warlord. So now we're showing our targeting. On both your unit and its hologram, you can now see range and line-of-sight lines drawn from each of your Titan's weapons to the enemy. These lines are blue when it has line-of-sight and is in range. If line-of-sight is interrupted before reaching the target, the line turns red from that point. So terrain, buildings, mountains, all that kind of stuff. If the target is out of optimum range, the line is amber to that point, and then turns red to the target, indicating a long-range shot where armor penetration chances are reduced. Range is also indicated numerically and by color. Blue, the shot is inside optimum range. Amber, you're only just reaching optimum range, so you're not really benefiting from your time on target. Red, long range. So this has been changed. This is all kind of a new update. These targeting tools allow you to see at a glance which weapons have a shot from the starting position and which would have a shot from the finishing position. Time on target between these 2 points is critical. You must make a judgment call as to how much time you think will be spent shooting at the target. So initially, if something was out of range, you just wouldn't fire. Then they did kind of an update where you could fire at things out of range. It was just very, very unlikely you're going to hit the target. And my understanding now is that they've actually boosted your chances of hitting even if you're out of range. So even at long range, you at least have some chance. I don't think it actually tells you what the percentage is, but we'll see what happens. When both choosing your targets and positioning your own Titans, a critical game concept is that of time on target. The more time you spend in range and in line of sight, the more you'll shoot at your target during 10 seconds of order execution. If line of sight obstructing elements are in the way, blocking your shot at either move, start, or end position, you will need to make a judgment call. Look at the line of travel from start to finish for each weapon and the intervening terrain between your unit and its target. As a general rule, if the lines are obstructed at either end, you will shoot less than is optimal. It's even possible to not shoot at all. The other thing you have to watch for, it doesn't actually tell you in this, is that if you have multiple Titans, you have to watch your own line of fire, because you will absolutely shoot your own Titans if they're in your line of fire. Now let's see how your double order plays out. To execute this order, click Commit. The result of your order will play out over 10 seconds. During that time, if you have set a target and that target is within both range and line of sight of one of your weapons, those weapons will fire. Dismiss this dialog and then click Commit Order. In the options, you can also turn on sort of an action cam that follows and kind of shows you shooting. I've got that actually turned off because when you're playing a larger skirmish, it's really difficult to see what's going on. In this kind of thing, it's kind of cool to see, but it's sort of close-up viewing your own Titan as it's shooting and moving, so it's kind of hard to keep track when it's showing the enemy doing that and stuff of where they are on the map. So I've actually got that disabled. Maybe I'll take a look at the options before we start the skirmish. So let's commit the order. Well, okay, we have to do this first. So you can kind of see here, this is icons for shields being taken out. Then we've got damage and armor penetration. So he's lighting me up a little bit here. just dropping shields, shields, shields. So there's armor saves. I'm not sure what those are new, kind of the bullet with the cross. I'm not sure what those are. So before what you had was kind of the shield showed an armor save, and then there was a red mark which would show actual damage. But I'm not sure what the bullet with the cross lines through it is, so it doesn't actually have anything explaining that. Good work, Legate. Now let's discuss the results of your action. Each shot you fire damages your enemy. You'll see its void shield stripped away before hits on armor occur. Any penetrating hits will reduce your Titan's current damage capacity, health, and add stress. If the stress meter reaches 100%, the Titan will be forced into an activated state. Let's cover each of these concepts in turn. Void Shields, blue bar. Void Shield is an energy field that protects Titans from ballistic attacks. Any hit on Void Shields will deplete them, as represented by the blue Void Shields bar. Once shields are completely depleted, the Titan is no longer protected, and any further hits will strike the target's armor. Damage capacity, red bar. Hits that penetrate a Titan's armor will cause damage, as represented by the red damage capacity bar. You can think of this as its health. If a Titan takes damage equal to its starting damage capacity, it is destroyed. Normal versus macro weapon hits. Titan armor is very strong. While normal hits can penetrate, they usually do not. This is why you want to bring macro weapons. Macro weapons are so powerful that Titan armor is typically half as effective, and then there are Titan killer macro weapons, which are so powerful they ignore Titan armor completely. Macro weapons typically have a low rate of fire, so they hit less frequently, but they hit hard. Stress, the amber bar. This is something that I think is a little odd, and I still think it's something that maybe should get taken out. Your war engines will suffer stress from the strain that enemy attacks put on the god machines and their crews. Your Titans can each suffer stress equal to their starting damage capacity. An amber stress bar will appear above your void shields and damage bars showing how much stress your engines are coping with or not coping with. Any actual damage done further adds to stress meter. When the stress meter reaches 100%, the war engine will temporarily shut down, becoming completely ineffectual. In game terms, this means that if it has not already been activated this turn, it will be set to activated. At the end of each turn, in the end phase, each Titan will shed just over half the stress it's carrying and return to a fighting stance. So Titans that were forced to shut down in the previous turn will return to active duty in the new turn. So two issues with this. It's actually not even showing the stress on here, which is kind of odd. So if the stress bar is here, and it's supposed to show that it's maxed out when it reaches the same size as my health, I can't actually see the starting positions of my health if I've taken some damage. So it could be kind of hard to tell if I'm close to being maxed out on stress or not. The other thing is that it sort of feels like if you are getting banged up or beat up in a game, then it sort of actually compounds the problem. There's less you can do to deal with it. So instead of trying to get out of the position, it's actually going to end up shutting down your mechs. So it just makes kind of a cascading effect. It kind of seems to me like it's almost sort of punishment for getting shut up. So I think they're trying to sort of imitate sort of the heat mechanism from like BattleTech, but I don't really think it works that well for the circumstances. Although saying that, I don't think I've ever actually had a Titan in a skirmish get shut down from stress, so I think it doesn't happen very often. So at least it's not something that comes up like super regularly. Close combat. So far we have explored shooting combat only. Now let's discuss close combat. When your princeps find themselves in close quarters battles, you can initiate hand-to-hand close combat, whether your Titan is armed with a close combat weapon or not. Close combat is decisive and frequently deadly. Close combat occurs inside of the Titan's void shields, which means any damage done completely bypass the combatant's shields, hitting armor directly. Titans carrying melee weapons like the Titan Power Fist have a massive advantage in close combat and will relish it. These Titans should actively seek out close combat victims upon the field of battle, as Titan Power Fists do phenomenal damage when they connect. To move your Titan into close combat, select your target enemy Titan, then right-click to place a holographic representation of your Titan on the toes of your currently targeted Titan, ensuring the amber fight ring covers the enemy Titan. Dismiss this dialogue, select your Warlord, double order should still be highlighted, target the enemy Titan by right-clicking, target the Titan, right-click on the ground at the enemy Titan's toes, and then click Commit. So I'm not a big fan of close combat in this game, especially if you don't have a close combat weapon. I haven't actually tried a Titan with a close combat designated weapon. What tends to happen is, even though you have all these massive engines of destruction, if you end up in close combat, all you do is sort of like bonk your head into them, and they kind of bonk you back, and that's about it. You can't actually use your massive weapons in close combat, and I haven't ever successfully been able to get out of close combat either. So it's kind of a weird situation to be in, where you just kind of end up tying up an opponent for a while and don't really do any damage to them, and they don't do any damage to you. And it's very difficult to destroy the target because your Titans will shoot your own Titan if they're in the way in the line of fire. So a close combat weapon probably makes that a bit better, I would hope. But the fact that you can't leave close combat, and the fact that you don't fire your weapons in close combat doesn't make any sense to me. So saying that, I have had the enemies, and this could just be a glitch because it is an alpha thing, instead of hitting me when I'm in close combat with them, they'll shoot me with all their weapons. But then I can only kind of headbutt them, and that's it. So I end up taking way more damage than I deal out. So I tend to avoid close combat, but we might see it. Maybe I'll try to take something with a close combat weapon and see if we can do anything with it. Alright, so select the Warlord, target the enemy Titan, right-click on the ground. So like that, I believe, is kind of what we're looking at. So there's the stress bar suddenly showed up. So we did take fire as we went in, but once we're in close combat now, we just kind of bonk him, and then he's going to bonk me back. So there was some actual damage to my Titan. So we're generating shields. Congratulations, Legate. You have mastered the fundamentals of Titan combat and are ready to command a full detachment of Titans and battle for the fate of the galaxy. So now, yeah, the stress is almost non-existent there. So that was just kind of the quick basic stuff about the game. So let's go over the new update. So if I can get it to load. Alright, the new update, long-range attacks, flanking bonuses, weapon destruction, expanded deployment options. So you are likely aware that Glenn and I have been reviewing the feedback received to date and making changes to gameplay when we decide if it's a good idea to do so. Today's update is focused on implementing a variety of changes based on your feedback. We hope you enjoy the changes. Shooting changes, long-range attacks. Further to our last round of changes to how shooting works, we received generally supportive feedback, but also some useful criticisms that have caused us to review shooting again. In today's update, we've made some key changes that should further improve your experience of shooting in Dominus. In addition, today's update, of course, also brings the flanking bonuses and weapon destruction mechanics we announced in our last post. You can now shoot with reasonable accuracy, doesn't actually tell you the percentages, at any range. While accuracy is now good at long range, shots made at longer than optimal range will suffer a significant penetration penalty as the power of the shot falls off, making it very hard for these shots to do damage against the Titan's awesome armor, but not impossible. So this might be a good way to strip shields before getting into combat. It might be too strong as a way to take down enemy shields before you get close up. So we'll kind of play around with that and see what I think. This change makes it possible to engage from turn 1 if your Titans can pick a line of fire to their target. You will discover there are both advantages and disadvantages to doing so, however. Some weapons can only fire once every other turn, so things like that you might want to keep in mind. Flanking bonus. We have again revised how damage works, this time adding differentials between front and rear armor values. In practical terms, you can now outflank your opponent's Titans to gain a significant penetration bonus against their rear armor. If you're able to get behind your target, your Titans now gain a significantly improved chance to hit and penetrate. The flanking bonus makes your nimble Scout Titans more dangerous to their larger Battle Titan cousins, if you can sneak them around for shots in the rear. This has potential to be a real game changer, as with careful maneuvering, faster Titans can potentially exploit rear armor vulnerabilities. We'll be watching our Steam discussion forums for feedback, so please let us know what you think of this change. So one thing I didn't see in the tutorial was any change to how I move and then figure out or set what my ending turn flank or positioning to the front is. So I want to be able to decide the angle I'm facing at the end of my turn, but that doesn't seem to be an option. It's going to be more determined by the targets I'm shooting at and where I'm moving. So weapon destruction. Titan weapons are now destructible. Weapon fire that strikes actual weapons now has a chance to inflict catastrophic damage to the point where the weapon is completely destroyed. Chances increase for macro weapons and particularly Titan killers. So this is something I thought would be kind of cool, definitely to add, because there have been a few times when an enemy Titan is almost completely destroyed, but they still have all their weapons totally available, and they're still moving at full speed, that kind of stuff. So those kind of things, whether weapons being knocked out temporarily or reductions in speed or not being able to move, those kind of things. But the other side of that is that I think you should definitely have the chance to be able to get those things repaired during the end turn. So there should be a chance of all that stuff coming back online. And possibly there might be a way in the future it would be kind of cool to sort of prioritize what things you want back online. Then we've also have the expansion of deployment options. So we've expanded your deployment options from 9 to 18 positions in the Maniple Builder. So you'll see that when we go to the Skirmish. In addition, the new deployment options are further forward on the map, starting closer to the front line. The extra deployment points mean you can properly engage strategies like a refused flank. Combined with the shooting changes discussed above, these deployment changes mean combat is likely to be initiated on turn 1. So all scenario army lists have been recreated, so we can mess around with that. Let's see, there's kind of a what's next section. I don't know if it's really that helpful, but definitely kind of some cool stuff. They are making kind of regular updates and changes to the game, so that's nice to see. So let's just go for a Skirmish. I am going to choose Chaos as well this time because there's also a Titan that was added. Last time I played, they didn't have the option of any of the actual Chaos Titans. I'm not sure I necessarily want to grab one because they are sort of close combat focused with a close combat weapon, but maybe I'll take one just to play around with. So let's see if it's here. There we go, the Banelord. So the Banelord has a Doomfist, so close combat weapon, got the Hellstrike Cannon, 2 Apocalypse Launchers. I can't actually change any of this stuff out, it's just kind of the set thing it's got with it. So up here we have the different Titan Legions, so we can go through just the color schemes. So we did have kind of a cool Chaos Demon head here. I don't think it's got a tail, which would be kind of neat. More fleshy and stuff would be kind of awesome. So it sort of depends for me the timeline of the game. If it's set during the Heresy, it sort of makes sense that the Chaos Titans would be basically the same as the Imperial forces. If it's set during present 40k, it would kind of make more sense. They're a bit more demonic, maybe more fleshy, different options and things. So let's see. Actually, it looks like the color scheme doesn't change when we're looking at the Banelord. That's what I'm looking for. So let's look at somebody else so we can kind of see what color scheme we want. The other thing that I have mentioned before is I would like to see each of the Titan Legions having their own specific advantage, even if it's just an incredibly minute thing, like certain particular weapon, maybe even certain particular weapon on certain particular Titans cost less or have a little bit further range or a little bit more crit chance or those kind of things. Darkfire is pretty cool. Let's just go with Darkfire. And so we do actually have, I don't know if I noticed the symbol here, so there, Korn, Nurgle looks like, well, that's Nurgle. That looks kind of like Nurgle as well. So we only have a few options here for the different Titan Legions. Tiger Eyes looks like Chaos United. Yeah, I like the Darkfire. Let's just go with Darkfire. So before we had here, so essentially what you do is you pick your weapons. We've got your point value here, total point cost that we're going to have available. Before, what we kind of had was just this one line. So if you had 9 Titans, you'd be filling up all of them. You could pick your Titan, decide where you want to put him, on the extreme left flank, middle left flank, inner left flank, center positions, or right flank positions. But now we've got both back and front positions available. So we've got a lot more options for where we want to put our Titans, how we want to distribute them. Another change that was made before, you'd kind of cycle through the different setups. Now what you can do is just sort of click on this and decide what you want to have. You can kind of quickly look at the point cost increases and stuff. Typically what I do go with are the 2 Volcano Cannons and the 2 Apocalypse Launchers because it's the cheapest option with the Volcano Cannons that I can get. Apocalypse Launchers are pretty cheap. The Volcano Cannons are really good, doing quite a bit of damage. As you can kind of see, they're excellent at infantry, excellent at tanks. So you can kind of see here, this is anti-tank. I always kind of think this is supposed to be a Titan, but it's actually supposed to be like a Marine. So this is actually anti-personnel. So this is anti-tank or Titan. So how effective it is, how many shots it'll take, and then this is its effective range. So 90 range, good long range, which is really cool. Overall, we've got our movement, damage capacity, how much shields we've got, armor, close combat capability, firefight ability. Apocalypse launchers are barrage. They tend to fire a bit. They're pretty good at taking out enemy shields, but not too good at taking out actual Titans. So once you get the Titans' shields down, they're not that useful. But this is kind of a cheap option. If I want to go for a more effective weapon like the laser blasters, so you can see the laser blasters are much better, just increasing our cost by 50 by just putting one. So you can mix things up and have one of each. You can also swap things out here. There's more options. Actually, just a couple. Plasma Annihilator, Volcano Cannon. I like the Volcano Cannons a bit more. So the Volcano Cannons, you can kind of see if it'll pop up, is a macro weapon, so it indicates a very powerful weapon that is so damaging that normal armor is ineffective. Only reinforced armor, such as those on Titans or super heavy tanks, has a chance to deflect macro weapons. Also, Titan Killer. So it's so powerful, even reinforced armor can not even reinforced armor can deflect its fire. Damage from Titan Killer weapons is also a higher chance. Killer weapons is also damage from Titan Killer weapons is also often higher than a normal or macro weapon hit. So they only fire once or twice, depending on your line of sight, but they do a ton of damage and tend to kind of ignore the enemy armor. Laser Blaster is not bad. It does fire 6 times in a turn, so that's pretty good at knocking down shields. Doesn't do a ton of damage, but not bad. It's definitely better than the Apocalypse Launcher. It's not on par with your main weapons, but it definitely can do quite a bit more damage than your Apocalypse Launcher. You kind of see Apocalypse Launcher against Titans, not very much. But this is kind of the cheap option. So if I really want a really heavy hitter, what I want to do is go with the double laser blasters, double volcano cannons, and we have a ton of shots that can take out enemy shields. And then we've got the 2 volcano cannons to just wreck things up. Although the laser blasters are also fairly effective at doing damage. They're not macro weapons or Titan Killer weapons, but they do have a pretty good chance of doing some good damage. But at this point, you're burning 950 points for just one. It's kind of a lot. So I can kind of play around a little bit with the point values here, but I do want to take one of the Bane Lords. So then we have the various different Reaver variants we can mess with, and then the Warhounds as well. So let's take a Darkfire. So we do have the Doom Fist here. So it is a Titan Killer weapon, so if we can get in close, we can do a lot of damage with it. We've got pretty decent shields, pretty decent armor, movement, we're stuck with the 2 Apocalypse Launchers, which is fine. We've got the Hellstrike Cannon, which is a macro weapon. So we can do a little bit of damage from range, but mainly want to do is kind of knock out enemy shields and get close up to use the Doom Fist. So what I might do is put him on a flank. So if I want to do that, I just kind of click on the guy, grab him, get a little card for him, and then drop it wherever we want. So kind of thinking, let's just drop him here for now. I tend to like having scouts out on the sides, and I like to use the Reavers as well. I like them quite a bit. For the Warhounds, what I'll often do, the Vulcan Mega Bolter is pretty good because it does fire a lot. It's pretty good at stripping shields, so I kind of use this to knock down enemy shields, and then also take another weapon that can do a bit more damage. So there's the Turbo Laser Destructor, which it doesn't seem to want to show me. Let's go back. There we go. So it does do a decent amount of damage with 4 shots. There's also the Plasma Blast Gun. So this one does quite a bit more damage, fires a couple times, but it has a recharge. So it's slow, which means it can't shoot in the turn. Following a turn, it has fired. So only every other turn you can fire this. It does count as a macro weapon. So I do like this particular combination. I just tend to be careful about when I shoot them. And at 275, it's not too bad. Option, if I want to just strip shields, 2 Vulcan Mega Bolters is pretty cheap at 250. Plasma Blast Gun's 275. I think the Turbo Laser Destructor is the same. 275, yeah. The Inferno Cannon is basically kind of a flamethrower. Basically does almost nothing to enemies. I think I actually did a scenario where I had one of these and I tried it out and it didn't actually do anything at all. So I tend to avoid that. Plasma Blast Gun I like quite a bit, so let's grab maybe a couple of you guys out on the flanks. Put some fast guys out there. Only have the Apocalypse Launcher available for the Reavers. Laser Blasters aren't bad. I also like the Volcano Cannons on these guys. Laser Blasters 650, so this is a bit higher. So 700 if I want to go double Volcano Cannon. So now it's showing. That's one thing, it just doesn't pop up. This game is an alpha, so there are some weird little bugs like that, but there hasn't really been any major things. I've never had the game crash, for example. So overall, it's pretty good. I think the graphics are pretty good so far. Interface looks good, and occasionally there's weird little glitches and things like that, but nothing that's major or causes a huge problem or anything. What I might do to save some points is just go with a laser blaster and a volcano cannon. I do like the longer range, but range may not be as much of an issue now. So let's grab a couple of these guys. So it leaves me about 2,300. I can throw some other warlords in the center here or out front. Trying to do some quick math in my head, and it's not working. Let's see. So does that leave me 600? Let's see. So with 600, what can I do? Probably another Reaver? Can I fit a Reaver for 600? Probably not. 650. Well, if I go for a Power Fist, I could. I'm not sure how effective that's going to be. I tend not to like the close combat weapons. I'm just going to kind of mess around with the one Doom Lord here. What I might do is take one of these guys. Could go double Mega Bolters on the scouts. It's not going to do much damage if we can get through, but it would take out shields. They're also good for grabbing objectives because they're way faster than the other Titans, so I do kind of like taking these guys. So that leaves me with 625. So I'd have to drop both of the Warhounds. So if I want to go for this, we can now fit that in. Just can't fit what I want, which is more of the volcano cannons. I like the volcano cannons. So I think we'll go with this. It's not really what I'm that comfortable with. I tend to want to take as many volcano cannons as I can. We've kind of got some weaker warhounds that I like. Mainly we're doing this just so we can try out this Doom Lord here. Alright, victory conditions, central objective, claim your opponent's forward operating base, destroy their most expensive Titan, kill them all. So blue is the objective I have. Oh, there we go. Oh, okay. So this is sometimes different. There's been objectives usually when I've played this, but this one is just kill. So skirmishes, the first bunch of times I played them were always this setup where you had to just wipe out the enemy. Then the next bunch of times I played, there were actually objectives. So this will be a little different. We have to wipe out the enemy. So I'm not really that comfortable with wiping out the enemy if I'm taking a bunch of guys I'm just sort of experimenting with. So we can kind of see my forces here sort of spread out. So what does the enemy have on this side? Got a Warhound and a Warlord. couple Reavers and a pretty heavy-duty Warlord there. A couple plasma guns. Yeah, that's got to be his most expensive unit, I'm sure, is right there in the center. So one thing... Oh, we do have our tail here. Cool. One thing we can do is taking shots from range. We can also take shots if we wanted to and potentially destroy buildings. So if our shots would hit a building on the way to the target, it'll end up destroying the cover. At this point, I don't really want to do that. So I have 8 Titans, he's got 7. So he went for a bit more powerful guys. Should be able to get around him a little faster to this side. One thing I noticed in the last one was that it's actually kind of hard to tell where the edge of the map is. Sometimes where it looks like you can go, you can't actually go. So I had kind of built a strategy in the last time I played this of kind of flanking around the side, but I couldn't actually go there.
Where's your omnissiah now?
So Chaos does have kind of their goofy little comments they'll make when you start them up or select a unit. So you can kind of see here I can move, but it's not going to let me choose my facing. So if I wanted to, example, kind of face off this direction, I can't actually adjust my facing. So here I'm just going to sort of try to hide behind these drop pods and little hills and just kind of move up. Alternatively, we could run further forward, but there's not much cover if I want to go anywhere. So I think this is an okay spot. For now, we'll just kind of hang out there. So this is the retain if I want to use this to take multiple actions in a turn. Right now we're far enough away, I'm not too concerned about that. So if I had action cam on, it would kind of be zooming in and showing them, and I'd kind of be watching the map to see where the heck they are. It's kind of why I have that turned off. I tend to prefer being able to see where everybody is. Okay, so he's kind of in the open there. I might be able to get some long-range shots on him. Might have some angles. I have to be careful not to shoot my own guys, though. I might just do kind of move up here a little bit. So it looks like we've got some stuff blocked by terrain, but the Apocalypse Launcher should make it, so we can maybe knock out some shields. Let's just see how effective it is. Actually taking some shields out back there. Did do a little bit. We actually have more information than I think we had before with the actual reductions, how many points, which didn't really see before. I think it just said it would like shield hit, or armor hit, armor save, that kind of thing. Okay, that's kind of creepy. So he has already moved him forward. Unfortunately, I don't move very fast. So I might want to just take some shots and move.
Long shall be your suffering.
Not much cover here. Still pretty far away. Let's kind of move over and see if we can get any shots. Yeah, we should be able to get a couple potential shots, knock down some shields on the way. Maybe? Yeah, took a few. Yeah, before kind of the first turn was really just positioning. You'd almost never get any shots off to do anything. If we don't hit something very much, most of the shields are just going to recharge in the end turn, though. So most of this probably isn't going to matter very much as far as knocking down a little bit of shields.
Long shall be your suffering.
Get up here, I can get up a little bit. I really need to get him moving up here if I can. So slow, though. Looks like we've got clear shots, so some of this might land, but probably not doing very much damage. Might as well give it a shot, though. No, took out the building here. And that building. We did actually take out some shields there. I'm honestly not that confident because of our positioning and the forces we have, but I think I'd be better off going for objectives than trying to wipe out the enemy here.
Long shall be your suffering.
Yeah, positioning here is kind of bad. I'm going to end up shooting my own guys depending on where I move.
Long shall be your suffering.
Do have a line of sight here. We might want to move to sort of take advantage of that.
Where's your omniscient now?
Kind of move somewhere out this way. See, in here I'd probably like to face maybe a little bit more that way, but that's fine.
Long shall be your suffering.
Well, you also have to select retain while you're acting. Yeah, so here I want to face sort of this way, but I'm facing like that way. See if he's going to be crazy aggressive with his Warhound here. Those almost like explosive arrows or something.
Where's your omniscient now?
So our Reavers are a bit faster, which is kind of... That's not really where I want you. So we hang out here and cover, I think. See if I can get him to come forward and we can try to gang up on the warlords. This is the guy who's going to be the most dangerous, so he's moving a bit more to my right. Kind of makes trying to get my Baneblade into combat a little bit harder if he's going to line him up there with multiple warlords.
Long shall be your suffering.
Let's just sort of reposition a little bit here.
Long shall be
So that's
your
running.
suffering.
Quite slow, the warlords. Yeah, and positioning, I don't want to face that way. I want to face towards the enemy. Even if I could move less and change the angle I'm actually facing. I'm also not sure of the forward and back arcs, so it might be a straight line through, or it could have to be in the rear 90% angle to get the rear attack. In here, I'd like to take some shots there, but I'm going to hit my own guy if I do, most likely.
Where's your omniscient now?
So let's just move up sort of parallel. Yeah, if I were to try to take some shots, well, maybe. Looks like I would just barely miss my own Warhound here. So let's go ahead and do it. If we're going to miss the Warhound, it's fine. We are actually getting some hits. Knocked his shields out. That must be a weapon taken out. We even took some shields down back there. So at the end turn, checking activation. So we're going to get to go first. So he got some of his shields back, but he did take a little bit of damage. If I want to look at the enemy, what I have to do is select one of my own guys, and select this. Then I can open unit data, target data. So he's down 100 shields, he has taken no health damage, none of his weapons are knocked out as far as I can tell. Now here's all of your options, by the way. Windowed mode, VSync, anti-aliasing, cinematic cameras, so we'd have that kind of turned off. We've got the music volume down, but it seems quite loud. So I'd like to knock down some shields, but we might want to hold off on doing that quite yet. What's our range here? We did get some shots in. We are in range of the volcano cannon. Everything else has a chance to hit. So I might want to hit him with this and then maybe move in with the Baneblade and pound on him. It's not a terrible idea. We could move forward a little bit too if we wanted to. I just don't want to make sure that I'm not blocking my own angles here for shots. So I think I'm just going to stay put. And have a little bit more accuracy. We'll take some shots here. And I am going to retain. So yeah, I'm not sure what that means. A lot of stress. Oh, took him out. Engine kill, engine kill, engine kill. Alright, that didn't take a whole lot to finish him off. It wasn't what I expected. I figured we wouldn't quite finish him off. So we're in a pretty good position here to deal with maybe one Warlord, but he's bringing the main one over and probably these other guys as well. So we want to kind of get in a position where we might have some angles on other units. Now I'm not sure, I can go on Overwatch, but I'm not sure if that'll only trigger if they come into my range. Unit shoots its target more effectively than normal, does not move at all. Overwatching units interrupt your opponent's order execution, automatically fire upon the next enemy that enters their weapon's range. Yeah, so my range isn't that fantastic, so it isn't really something that's going to be that effective to do at the moment. Even the Volcano Cannon probably ranges here-ish, something like that. Here I might want to kind of lure him out and then maybe try to jump on him. I'd like to get somebody in this firing line here, probably.
Long shall be your suffering. Long shall be your suffering.
So if I move up to here, it doesn't give me any view yet, but probably will eventually have line of sight down this way. If I'm kind of in the center position, we might have line of sight that way as well. Let's just sort of cautiously move up. Nothing. Maybe some shots could get through there. Nothing. Yeah, so maybe some shots with the Apocalypse launchers can make it through there, but we'd end up destroying some cover that I don't really want to do. So let's instead just move up kind of in the center here a little bit. Not going to take any shots. Kind of want him to come towards me a little bit. He's kind of rushing forward a little crazily. I still have my warlords here available. Could definitely get some shots in there.
Where's your Omnis now?
I'm just sitting tight. I've got okay shots, not fantastic. Let's move up just a little bit. And we've got a bit more in range. Let's see what kind of damage we can do. Hopefully knock out his shields at least. Yeah, shields are down. Damage, armor saves. A little bit of damage, not much. And sort of maximizing your firepower against targets is what you really want to do. Got some okay shots here as well.
Be your suffering.
Might as well take them, they're not too bad.
Long shall be your suffering.
Launchers shooting all over the place. Oh, we got his shields, a little bit of damage there. He moved right through him, what the heck? Ghost Titans. I haven't actually seen them do that before. I don't think you're supposed to be able to do that. Well, he's sort of creeping up on me there, which I'm not super happy about. Oh, so it will show here as well if you have kind of the it looks sort of purple, but it's kind of was blue before. If I've activated or not, you can see a little color difference. And then on the map, you can also see guys that are kind of shining, haven't activated yet, both for you and the enemy. I do like that they also show the enemies on the mini-map, so you can kind of tell. So I've got these two guys I still haven't activated. I've got two out here, and he's got the one Reaver back there. And then he's got the main Warlord in the back, and the Warlord right here. Kind of waiting for that Warlord to move up and see what he does before we activate anybody else here.
Where's your Omnissiah now?
Gonna try to kind of peek out here and take some long-range shots just to maybe knock down some shields. I don't want to leave him out there very long if I do that. What are my other options? Kind of just almost bypass him here, running through. We could move up and take some bolter shots at the Reaver there, but the heavy bolters he's got really don't do much damage. Mainly kind of used for stripping shields.
Where's your Omnissiah now?
And here I'd have to be careful. I wanted to take shots this way because of my other Titan being in the way, kind of. If I can get up, a little bit on the side here. Have a little tiny bit of cover, but not much. I might end up shooting these and destroying them in the process of moving if I want to take shots here. Yeah, I kind of want to jump as many guys on the one target there in one turn if I can. I'm in what a friend of mine would call analysis paralysis. It's too many options, too many variables. Definitely want to leave these two for the Warlord. Got Warlord out here as well. He's already activated. There aren't really good positions I can get to, though, so let's just try to stay a bit back in range and just try to knock out some shields for now. That's really all I can do. Let's see, we're dropping some. Yeah, knocking down a little bit. Our facing's now really bad, though. Yeah, you gotta go around. You gotta go around. So none of this going through Titan stuff.
Long shall be your suffering.
Okay, let's just get out a bit. Take some shots.
Long shall be your suffering.
Bad, shields down. Tiny bit of damage. Well, what's going on? Well. Okay, there's a lot of fire at my poor little warhound there.
Where's your Omnissiah now?
I kind of want to get in a position to take out some shields and then move the Baneblade up. But I don't want my Baneblade to end up shooting my Warhound in the process. I don't know if those barrels are going to block. And that's a really dangerous position. I'll end up shooting my own guy. I think I'm just going to move up and kind of hide. Yeah, let's just hide behind the hill here, I think.
Long shall be your suffering.
He's got his big baddie. I said baddie, not daddy. Yeah, if I can get him to shoot, he'd just destroy his own guy. Might as well take some shots, see if we can get anything. Didn't even take all the shields out. Oh, here's something, but it's not zooming in. What do we got? Oh, that's not good. Yeah, I just had a gun fall off and blow up there. That is not ideal.
Long shall be your suffering.
See if it shows me anything. Nope, doesn't actually show me. So I think that was my laser blaster that got blown off. Yeah, so I still have the volcano cannon.
Where's your Omnissiah now?
This is kind of a bad spot here. Don't like it, but what I'm going to do is sort of move up with the Warhound, and we're going to try to strip his shields, and then we'll retain.
Where's your Omnissiah now?
If we can knock his shields down, and then we can try to use the volcano cannon or something else. We did actually get a little bit of damage there, surprisingly. So it's whether I want to use the Reaver or the other Reaver on him. Might want to just move him back instead. I could try to use him to take shots as well, but we do have this other Reaver. Gonna cause problems.
Long shall be your suffering. Long shall be your
I
suffering.
think I can just stay put and take some shots. So he's only taking a tiny bit of damage there. I am in range, so we are going to do a little bit, but not enough, probably. Yeah, let's go ahead and use him before he gets killed. Oh, took out one of his guns. It's the volcano cannon. Taking some shots here. Oh, guns are just dropping left and right. I didn't think it'd be that common. So I sort of expected what would happen to be more like your weapon would be damaged and you'd be able to repair it, not that your weapon would just be blown off your body. So now we might as well just use you. Move up. Keep targeting the more dangerous guy. We do have the Reaver back there as well, who hasn't activated.
Where's your Omnissiah now?
Probably not going to do much damage with the limited weapons firepower I've got, though. Only a little bit of damage there. Being quite aggressive here, actually. Really trashed my Banelord a bit. About 100 damage. I can't even quite get into close combat with him.
Now.
Just going to kind of reposition here. We'll keep trying to take out this Reaver. Maybe that'll redirect his Warhound or Warlord in the back there, I mean. Do I want to retain? Yeah, why not? Not enough to kill him. Got open shots here as well if I wanted to take them.
Long shall be your suffering.
Let's go ahead and hit this guy. kind of see what he does out here.
Where's your omnicide?
Well, good damage. Reavers are actually pretty resilient. And for my poor little Warhound. Not enough to kill him, though. Well, maybe. Well, there he goes. Thought that first round of fire was it. My poor little Warhound. So I'm hoping I get the activation next turn and I can take actions before he does. Otherwise, I'm going to be in a bit of trouble here, I think. Got some of his guys banged up a little bit, but not nearly enough.
Long shall be your suffering. Where's your omnicide now?
Yeah, let's just light him up and then we'll have the Baneblade go for him here, I think.
Where's your omnicide now?
Another gun down. Hopefully my shields will take all of this. Well, that gives me another interesting target, potentially. I'm just going to move up and start hitting them from close range here. Try to get into close combat next turn, probably. Just going for my Warhound? Yeah. Yeah, can't destroy these, but you can destroy the buildings and stuff. Alright, my poor little Warhound.
Long shall be your suffering.
Maybe we'll just stay here and shoot him up a bit.
Long shall be your suffering.
Probably not going to do much damage. Oh, took out his leather weapon. That's good. Alright, please give me the activation. Please give me the activation. Oh, that's not good. Where's he doing it? Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad. I figure he's going to get destroyed, so he's got to take action now. Did actually do quite a bit of damage to me. So only got his little launcher left, and that's it. Okay, what do I want to do? We'll get our Baneblade... Banelord, I keep saying Baneblade. Banelord into combat here, probably. Things are a bit more iffy out here, so I probably should take action out here before anybody gets killed. So I want to try to take out this Warlord before he gets a chance to shoot. So that's sort of my priority. Let's see what our range is. Yeah, we're good. Let's just fire from here. We'll retain. Both of the Reavers will hit him, hoping to kill him. So now it's your turn. Please kill him. There we go, nice. Needed that. The camera's not jumping to where it needed to be. Okay, that's not great. Maybe I should have sent him in earlier. Taking a lot of abuse there. Okay, so we potentially have a kill here, if I want to go that way. Probably should get him into close combat. We've got a kill here if we want it.
Long shall be your suffering.
Let's just go for the kill here, and then we'll retain.
Long shall be your suffering.
There we go. Alright, this guy still isn't activated, so that's kind of a bad situation. We don't have a whole lot of shields left. I'm assuming he's probably going to target my warlord there. Let's get into close combat here. Might as well give it a shot. Smack! Didn't actually do a ton of damage. Which is unfortunate. Oh, what the heck? Oh, what happened? The Reaver out here taking action. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. He just kind of suddenly died. It said the kind of armor save for the melee attack, but I guess maybe it just didn't register until the end.
Long shall be your suffering.
Just gonna kind of back off here and take some shots, because why not?
Long shall be your suffering.
Be kind of cool if you could kill him off. Hey, nice. I didn't expect it. I thought he'd just take his shields out. The Mega Bolters don't do a lot of damage. But you can kind of see my facing now. It's like my back is this way. That's really not what I want. That's for sure. So I still have my Reaver here. I don't have a good angle.
Where's your Omnissiah now?
Getting up high? Yeah, that's there's stuff in the way. Don't think any of that's going to make it through. I keep hitting escape instead of clicking on something else to get that to go away.
Long shall be your suffering. Where's your Omnissiah now?
So I think we're going to be okay in this, the way things are going. And none of this is going to make it through to him. So I'm just going to kind of move up. At least got something from there, so let's give that a shot.
Long shall be your suffering.
What that was.
Where's your Omnissiah
We'll just stay
now?
put, take shots from here.
Long
Hope we get the activation.
suffering.
We can try to gang up on this guy. Actually doing pretty well here. Please let me go first. Yay! Alright, so he's just got that guy there. And that guy there, that's it. We're actually doing a lot better than I expected. Somehow my Banelord just slaughtering that guy was pretty cool. I didn't expect it to work that way, but that's the way it did. Alright, let's just have him fire again, I think. We'll retain. If we need it, we'll have somebody else come around and hit him as well. I'd like to kill him before he gets an action, but I don't think we're going to be able to. We'll drop one of his main guns. So we could get out, because I don't have to worry about him shooting now, so we could kind of light him up. And he's got shield, so we'll kind of put him in the way. Come on. Yeah, not enough to kill him. See, like here, is this rear? Poor Reaver keeps getting hammered back here, but he's surviving. Maybe he'll survive. Survived, right? Okay, just barely. I'd like to see kind of more info about your Titans as well. So maybe, like here it's not actually showing which weapons are knocked off. I'm just getting, you know, wow, almost no health left. But something like maybe speed reduced, or certain fires doing a certain amount of damage per turn, and then maybe the ability to assign crew inside the Titan to deal with certain things, repairing a gun that's damaged. I was kind of thinking more guns are damaged, not actually totally blown off, but yeah, it's still kind of interesting to see. I like the idea of more sort of weapon is knocked out for a couple turns, or there's a chance that you can repair it, something like that, instead of just totally blown off your body. Let's go the other way. So we can try to get out here to get some shots. Kind of getting behind him here, though. Oh, he survived. Just a sliver of health left. Shields are already gone. These warlords pack a lot of firepower. Oh, the Reaver survived. Good. Good job, dude. He's taking a lot of punishment out here, actually. All I've got left is my Warhound out here I could try to throw at him.
Long shall be your suffering.
I don't know if I can get a good angle for any shots. Some. I don't think it's likely I'm going to get a kill here, but we'll try for it. Probably would have been smarter to run around behind him. Gonna make all his armor saves.
Long shall be your suffering.
Right, let's move up a bit. Try to drop his shields and do some damage here if we can. Try to get the kill shot with the other Reaver that's got the volcano cannon. Yep, so he's out of units. Got some guys left.
Long shall be your suffering.
In here, if I stay put, I'd prefer if I actually like turned toward the target I'm shooting at, instead of actually having to waste movement to kind of move towards him in case I don't kill him. But I feel like I kind of need to move towards him just in case. If I don't get the kill, then I've got better armor towards him. It looks like he's blocking just happened there? So this is something before. The ruins of the other Titans weren't really there as cover before, so that's kind of cool. Or I didn't notice that before. So like those shots actually were hitting the Titan that we knocked out before. He's behind. Well, I don't know that I can get any shots off without hitting my own guys. Just take a look. Yeah, we can get some shots through there, maybe? Kind of long range. So if we can hit him with the volcano cannon. Yeah, there we go. Take him out. And I get to go first. So, actually, the Banelord did okay. Especially if that was his melee weapon that just kind of trashed that other guy. That was pretty effective. Just really hard to get him into close combat because they're so slow. $247. Just kind of looking at how much health I have left. Supposedly you should be able to repair some health, or at least there's a chance to repair some health from turn to turn. No, he's on fire. This one here, there's nothing indicating that I'm on fire or what fire does. I have honestly no idea what being on fire does.
Where's your Omnissiah now?
Let's just light him up from here, and we'll retain. Use the other Reaver between the two. Hopefully they can finish him off. And that'll be the end of it. Take out a gun at least. I like how it jumps all the way over there.
Long shall be your suffering.
Might as well try to angle out here away from the wreckage to get those shots in.
Where's your Omnissiah?
Nice hit. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so pretty good actually. I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of my guys left, so I only lost 2 then. My little Warhound here. Who else did I lose? I'm not sure. But yeah, it went pretty well. The Banelord definitely did an okay job. Once we got him into close combat, I was able to take that other Titan out with no real problem. We'd kind of massing our firepower. You want to do as much firepower on the enemy as you can, try to take them out. Using certain weapons to knock down shields, or certain Titans that you have equipped with weapons for knocking out shields seems like a good tactic. But yeah, I would like to see things like maybe upgrades to the individual Titan crews or individual Titans. Maybe crew kind of stuff, like the first Battlefleet Gothic had different crew upgrades for increasing chances of stuff, like increasing crit chances. I'd like to see more of the ability to repair or more information about damage your Titan has, maybe allocating crew to certain repairs, so getting your fires put out, depending on what fires do, which I still don't know, getting a certain weapon back online if it's been damaged instead of just straight up destroyed like they're doing in this. Getting more shields, like what your priority is, do physical damage repairs or shields back online, that kind of stuff would be kind of cool to have. And then, like I said before, having the different Titan legions having their own kind of unique special, whether it might be certain weapon is a tiny bit cheaper on a certain kind of Titan, or a certain weapon on a certain Titan is a little bit higher crit chance or a little bit longer ranged. Maybe a certain Titan moves a little bit faster for certain legions. Just real minor things, nothing that would be particularly game-breaking or difficult to kind of keep track of or remember, because it's kind of such a minor thing. But a minor thing helps add some flavor to things, having a little bit of flavor and some flavor text to sort of explain it and why, a little puffery, if you will, to kind of give you a reason why. I think the example I gave before was there was a particular Titan I remember that was described as having fought orcs a lot, So they had like giant speakers attached to the outside of their Titans that was always screaming stuff at the orcs, and then gave them kind of a psychological boost against the orcs. So anything like that, and it sort of depends. I'm sure, like I'd said before too, they're probably going to add super heavy tanks. I'd like to see other stuff besides just super heavy tanks. It'd be kind of cool to see just leave and rest tanks. I'm not sure about infantry necessarily, but it'd be kind of cool to have super heavy tanks, regular tanks, artillery, that kind of stuff as well in the game. But as far as just the Titans, each individual Titan should be, a really powerful, amazing engine of destruction, with a lot of its own special, unique abilities, and maybe even one Titan or the other, depending on what Titan Legion you are, what weapons you pick, how your crew is equipped, trained, have a little bit of their own individual character, and maybe the ability to sort of prioritize repairs and things. All of that I think would be really cool. But that's pretty much going to be it for kind of the look today, so that's sort of the new stuff. So yeah, I'm actually pretty impressed. I wasn't sure if I was going to be that comfortable with long-range stuff being a bit more accurate. It does seem like it is a lot more accurate than it was before, but there's still a bit of randomness in your fire. So you can kind of fire into a general area, maybe hit multiple Titans to knock down some shields on a couple at the same time, which is pretty cool. So overall, yeah, pretty happy with the recent upgrades. I would like, though, that the weapons were just temporarily damaged, or damaged unless you repaired them, and there's only a certain percentage chance of them being repaired instead of just being completely blown off. But all that adds some cool stuff. I could see that there could be a chance of both. You could have a percentage chance the weapon's just knocked out temporarily, or that there's, on a crit or something, that the weapon is actually completely destroyed and can't be repaired for the rest of the game. Those kind of things. Having some kind of difference between those two settings, and then being able to deal with them in different ways. So at least for damage stuff, you can increase your chance of repairs. If it's totally destroyed, maybe you now have more crew available who can do other things with your Titan. So being able to get more shields online or things like that. But yeah, that'll be it for today for the quick look. So we'll probably have this up fairly soon. Just kind of wanted to check this out myself because I saw the update and read through it. It sounded pretty cool. But yeah, thanks. I do appreciate you hanging out. If you're interested in any other streams of things, I do stream on Twitch pretty regularly, and then older streams I put up on my YouTube channel, which is DisturbingPuppet as well. So thanks very much. Hopefully I'll see you next time. Have a good one.